Indira, we are so happy to have you here today. We just did the warm welcome for you. So can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what part of the world you are in?
Yes, Rachel, so excited to be on the other side of the Success with Soul podcast. So, as you mentioned, I'm Indira and I am currently in South Florida. And as of this recording, I'm actually, going through the aftermath of Hurricane Ian, and my neighbor's just, 2 hours west of me. So, that's been really sad, but I love working remotely, and that has given me the ability to work out of the country and in the mountains and all sorts of amazing places.
Awesome. So then you, just for our listeners, you are in West Florida. Is that right, Indira?
I'm actually in South Florida, so many people would say like South Beach, Miami Beach. So I grew up here, so I'm actually back home. I came back home to South Florida.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, can you tell us a little bit about your role in the company? What do you do on Team KK?
Yeah, so I am the COO, so I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Team KK. I like to say I am Kate's like right-hand woman. I handle all things operations and team, and my job is to just basically ensure that we are putting all the systems in place so that Team KK can grow and hopefully impact as many lives as possible in the process.
I love that, Indira. So I want to hear a little bit about your experience before joining Team KK, because I know in your bio you have 1 million certifications. So tell us a little bit about your experience before joining Team KK. What's your favorite certification and what's on the horizon for you next?
Yeah. So, professional background, like I have been part of like operations. I've worked as a director of operations. I've worked in sales and marketing. I have worked in, you know, all kinds of different roles where I was supporting the business side and supporting the team side. And that's actually what I found that I love the most. And that is really working with the team, supporting. I like to say, I'm here to support your success. So that has been really like my favorite thing of all the experiences that I've, accumulated through the years, through the different positions that I've had. I have a background. I know you mentioned certifications. I'm also like a licensed real estate broker. I, worked in the real estate arena for over 15 years, in both the operations side as well as like sales and marketing. And so I'm a licensed broker as well. And yeah, I have a handful of certifications. And a lot of that is because I love to learn, and I love to consistently gain tools that I can use to bring into the workplace. So one of the things that I love is leading from a place of coaching. I think that when you lead a team, when you lead a business and you frame it from a coaching angle, that everything just is smoother and flows better. And so I became certified as an NLP practitioner and a life and success coach, EFT, hypnotherapy, all of it, because I really wanted to use those skills to help clients and also to communicate better and more effectively with our team and any team that I've been with. I was a former CEO. I had my own online, I'm a certified OBM as well. And I had actually my own, successful service-based online business for over 4 years before joining Team KK. And so it was definitely interesting to go from entrepreneur to intrapreneur. And I don't think I would have done that for anyone else besides Team KK, for sure.
Well, thanks for sharing a little bit about your very wide and diverse background. I didn't know you were a real estate broker, so that's really exciting for me to learn something new. So tell us, Indira, you've done so many different things. You have so much different experience. What do you consider your zone of genius?
100% team. So one of the things that I love to do is hire and grow the team. So you know that I did all of your interviews and went through the whole hiring process for you, for Olivia. And I have done that successfully for all the clients that I've worked for and the teams that I've been with. One of the things that I'm really proud of is that I can look back with, people that I placed in a team, and 4 years later, they're still with that team. So I really love the level of retention that I've been able to produce for teams when hiring team members. And I would definitely say that's my zone of genius. Interacting with people, leading people, building a team, being a cheerleader. My son sign is in Leo. And so I'm just like a natural born cheerleader that I'm like, yeah, come on, team. And like I mentioned before, that's where I adopted the phrase, I'm here to support your success. I genuinely come from a place of like, I just want us to succeed, because I view, for example, I see Team KK's success as my own success. So I'm like intimately connected to it.
I love that, Indira, and I can totally feel that from being on the team and hearing that you like embody the whole cheerleading vibe. Like that definitely comes out in your leadership style. And I've been super impressed. I worked in the field of employment for a long time and had my own service-based business in that, so I was familiar with hiring. But Team KK's hiring process is like top notch, and I have a feeling that is directly from some of the things that you've implemented, Indira. So thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about that. The next question that I have is which one of our team values do you embody the most? And I can run through our team values for our podcast listeners. So we are scrappy, growth-oriented achievers. We actually care. We make mistakes, which is a big one for us. We're always learning, which we already heard Indira talk a little bit about. So there's maybe a spoiler alert for you. And then we're boundary pushing, confident badasses who ask, why not us? And we take care of ourselves. And we leave the world a better place. So which one of those do you feel like you embody the most, Indira?
So I just want to say that I 100% align with everything. I remember when I was reading the job description for this role that I found myself saying, yes, yes, hell yeah. Like it was amazing. But if I had to choose just one, I would say we are scrappy, growth-oriented achievers, because I really can relate that. I love that we are constantly, looking for out of the box solutions. I love that we're always looking for solutions, right? A problem, rises up, and right away we all come together and it's like, okay, like, can we put our heads together and can we find a solution? And I just love that about our team. I actually did that yesterday. It's like, hey, everyone, can you please take a look at this loom? Let's put all our brains together. And we always come up with the solutions. And that's definitely my favorite team value.
Yeah, I love that about our team too, for sure. There's always a way, and when we work together, amazing things can happen. So yeah, I feel that also.
Yeah.
So when you look at our company culture as a whole, what is one thing that people might be surprised about working on Team KK or surprised about Kate?
That we are what we portray in terms of like, who you see on the website, what you hear on the podcast, everything. We actually do what we say we're going to do. There are no like, peeling back the curtain, like, oh, the team really doesn't look like the way they say you would think. I think that we are exactly like, we're walking our talk. Exactly. And being in the online business for so many years and having different clients, oftentimes we look, it's especially at like certain entrepreneurs, and we see them and we think like, oh my God, their business must be amazing. And then you peel back the curtain and the back end is like a hot mess, and you would never expect that. And I would say the complete opposite. I think that if people peeled back the curtain of Team KK and saw our amazing SOPs, our amazing project management, like the way we run Team KK, I think is like the best I've ever seen in any business I've ever been a part of, whether brick and mortar or in the online space, for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that authenticity piece is something that I really feel like we embody as a team. And Kate herself, like you see what you get with Kate, that's for sure. And I love that about our team. So Indira, you're Kate's right-hand woman. What piece of advice would you give someone who's looking for their own right-hand person? So someone hiring for a COO, what kind of advice would you have to give them about hiring?
Definitely, I would say their values. Like one of the things that I did when I applied for the position is I actually have all my values as part of my business website, and I actually included my values because I think it's so important to really, when you're hiring for my position, you're the right-hand person, right? So you need to be able to complement one another's strengths and weaknesses. Part of that is definitely aligning with the values. And you'd be surprised how important the soft skills are, sometimes even more so than the hard skills, right? Hard skills you can learn, you have SOPs, you can train someone to learn a certain tool, a certain, project, you can, all of that, you can train someone, but the soft skills, those are things that you accumulate through experience. And I definitely would say that when you're hiring for this position, to really focus on how do you align with the person's values and how do you match with the soft skills. Everything else, it can be taught. That's not to say that someone, with no experience, obviously that doesn't make sense either. But I read somewhere statistically, men who have like 60% of like the required, when you look at the job description, if they have anywhere from 40 to 60% of, what's listed, they'll apply. Women apply when they have 90% of what's listed. And so I would definitely encourage people that when you're looking for this position, that you actually put that statement out and that you say, like, even if you only have 40 to 60%, go ahead and apply, because you'd be surprised that you can find like someone who is amazing and may not have checked everything off.
I love that, Indira. So tell us a fun fact about you, get to know you better, putting you on the spot a little bit here, but tell us something that makes you unique.
Well, I am obsessed with astrology. As you know, I have been since I was a little kid, and I'm finally taking a course to like become a professional astrologer, but more importantly, like I want to learn how to read birth charts. I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
Well, we're really excited about it too, as the beneficiaries of probably some of Indira's astrology work. And yeah, so little teaser to come for our listeners. We may have Indira do some future astrology type things inside our incubator or even here on the podcast. So stay tuned for that. So Indira, we are going to go into my favorite, the lightning round. So I've got some questions for you to kind of shout at you, and we'll hear your lightning round answers. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite way to make time for self-care?
Reading and journaling. I like to just, I have a beautiful little area in my living room, great light, all my books are there. So love just reading and journaling.
Awesome. What is one tool or strategy that you use to help with time management?
block scheduling. I've been using that for years, but after interviewing several people and asking this question, one of the tools that I do want to start implementing for time management is something that our incubator client recommended, which was to do the tasks that require the most effort at the top of the hour when you're like, and then to save the ones that, are least effort required towards the end of the day.
Ooh, 2-for-1 tips from Indira on the time management today. What is the most powerful business, mindset, or entrepreneurial book you've ever read? The one that you reference over and over, and that's made the biggest difference in your life?
So anyone who knows Team KK, you guys know that we're all voracious readers on the team. And I read on average 4 to 5 books a month, read multiple books at the same time. So this is really hard for me. However, in the position that I've been in, I would say that Dare to Lead by Brené Brown has been a book that I have read and reread countless times, because it's a wonderful reminder of what it takes to be a good and efficient leader. So I love that. Plus I love, she's the one who says clear is kind, clear is unkind, which is something that I feel, we follow in Team KK. So I love that.
I agree. I love that too. And I love our team library. That's part of our kind of benefits package on Team KK. That was super exciting to figure out when I first got hired. So yeah, I couldn't agree more about the Dare to Lead book. Okay, so mindset question. What's your favorite quote or mantra or affirmation when things get tough and you feel like giving up?
Fail early, fail often, but always fail forward by John Maxwell. One of the things that I learned when I became an NLP practitioner that was really drilled in was that failure is nothing more than feedback. And you need to fail yourself. You need to fail your way to success. That, hearing it now, right? That is like, of course, it's common sense. But for years, the idea of failing was a complete reframe that I had to do to really embrace it and not see failure as I am a failure, not identifying with the failure, just like, oh, that's feedback. It didn't work. So let's try something different. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Indira. One thing about our team that I really like, just going back to our values, is that we make mistakes and we own up to our mistakes and we use our mistakes as feedback so that we can move the business forward. We even have, like, in our Slack channel, kind of a company culture where we put in our mistakes for everyone to see, even when we could hide them and keep them in the shadows. But that's one thing that's really important to our team, is going back to kind of that authenticity and going back to that value around we make mistakes and we acknowledge our mistakes, we own them, and we use them as feedback to move forward. So I love that you shared that quote with us. And then our last question in the lightning round is, what does success with soul mean to you?
Yeah. Success with soul means to me that you get to authentically do what you love and make money doing so. Really, that's what it means. Like, to authentically do what you love and then to be compensated for it. That's success with soul.
Boom. Well, I think we're going to end the podcast on that note today. Indira, thank you so much for your time and for sharing a little bit about your background and your zone of genius and yourself with our listeners today. We are so lucky to have you on Team KK, and we can't wait for all of the future things to come from your astrology certification and just all the changes that you are going to make in our business. So thank you so much, Indira. Any parting last words for our listeners today?
Thank you so much, Rachel. This was awesome. And I would just say, parting last words, you get what you focus on. So, focus on expansion.
I love that. Thanks, Indira.
Bye.